Now, don't tell the other videos, but ministry is always my favorite part of conference. So I'm super excited for this report on the Wisconsin Annual Conference 2021 and the ministries that we celebrated there. At conference, there are several offerings that are taken up, and I have them listed on the following two slides. One of the coolest projects was Motorcycles for Bolivia, where we partnered with the Bolivian Methodist Church to provide 4 motorcycles for Bolivian pastors to navigate their country's treacherous roads, which are often afflicted by landslides, pools of water, and rivers. I really encourage you to check out the link that's in my written report for a video that shows how devastating it can be whenever they're not able to have reliable transportation. We also supported the Clergy in Transition Fund, which provides short-term funding for clergy who must suddenly leave ministry, and this helps with expenses related to housing, loss of insurance, and loss of income. The rest of the conference offerings were for the Rising Sun Camp, which is a camp for children with an incarcerated parent. This is run by the conference to provide both fun outdoor activities like campfires and canoeing, as well as support through team building, anger management, and trust building. Finally, we supported the Midwest Mission Distribution Center, which is one of 9 depots for UMCOR. And this mission distributes UNCOR supplies in response to disasters within the United States. For this next section, these are missions that are close to home and all around the world. The first one was one that we saw at the Laity Session with Collins Ako, one of our missionaries in the Democratic Republic of Congo, who presented on his work in the East Congo Episcopal area. He is an expert in post-conflict reconstruction and church development, and he works in an orphanage, a center for survivors of sexual violence, and leadership training. If you'd like to learn more, his email address is on the slide. We also learned about Wisconsin Prays for Myanmar, with a disturbing report about the state of Myanmar and its people who are struggling under political crisis. They had some pictures and testimony from pastors who have been harmed and churches that have had a lot of property damage. And we were invited to take a picture holding up a 3-finger salute in solidarity with the people of Myanmar. If you'd like to, you can send your picture to this email address here for collection. We got to hear from Pentecost Emergence Latino Ministries, which are 26 ministries all over Wisconsin that equip lay missionaries and establish new ministries. We also heard from the Anti-Racism Task Force and Black Methodists for Church Renewal. Both of these groups are dedicated to the eradication of racism in the Wisconsin Conference. And these groups have been working to find strategies that can be deployed quickly and will be sustainable over time. The task force has taken an intersectional focus on how to combat the discrimination, injustice, and prejudice that unfortunately still exists in our conference. Members of non-Caucasian ethnic groups and persons who identify with an LGBT+ category are working to eradicate bias and exclusion through re-examining policies, rules and practices, and relationship behaviors. We also heard from the New Ministry Strategy Board and Congregational Development, celebrating 20 new ministries in 5 years, with 24 under support. There were 3 new ministries in 2020, the Cross Bridges, Superior Grace Korean Fellowship, and Milwaukee Redeemer Hmong. There was 1 new ministry so far in 2021, Emerald Anchor of Hope Recovery Ministry. And these ministries are supported by apportionment funding. That means that we're helping to grow these ministries and develop a culture of planting in local churches that aims to plant 3 or more new ministries each year. We also heard from the Hispanic and Latino Pentecost Emergence a little bit earlier, and their work is really important in this as well. Finally, I wanted to highlight some of the short videos and presenters that we had in between votes. After the ballot would be closed, it would take a couple minutes for them to be able to tabulate all the results and make up the nice slide that says, whether the motion had passed or not. So while we were voting, there were lots of really good videos, and I wanted to provide a lot of resources for them here. So this is the crash course. There's a lot more in the written report, but here goes. We heard from the UMC Church and Society, which works toward personal and social holiness both here in the U.S. and around the world through 5 priorities informed by racial justice: climate justice, healthcare for all, immigration, peace, and a just economy. We heard from Pine Lake and Lake Lucerne camps, which are our 2 conference summer camps and retreat spaces. United Methodist Communications introduced information poverty and the ways United Methodist Connect is reaching people around the world through radio, internet, and other technologies, showcasing how we are spreading the good news with each other and into the community. We heard from Harbor House, a ministry of crisis shelters in Superior, on a mission to end homelessness. The Wisconsin Council of Churches was celebrated as the state's ecumenical organization serving as spiritual first responders through this year of transition. There were several pastors who really emphasized how important the Council of Churches has been in the past year to keep local pastors going. Global Ministries is a board that facilitates ministry on your behalf in 115 countries, with initiative in health, disaster recovery, food security in Africa, solar energy, pandemic relief, clean water, and maternal and child health. You're helping to do all of this. And before we leave this slide, I did want to mention that the image here is from the Korean Methodist Church's virtual choir, who presented a song for us. Keeping on going, we got to hear from the Board of Higher Education and many of our campus ministers and ministries across Wisconsin, which are at many of the different University of Wisconsin campuses. If you're connected to any college students looking for campus ministries, let them know that there are United Methodist resources and campus ministers out there. We also heard from The Crossing and University Christian Ministry, which are 2 other campus ministries here in Wisconsin. And finally, there was a really cool video by the First UMC Church in Wausau, Wisconsin. They really showed the power of the breakthrough prayer. And that's a prayer that we have shared at Sugar River a lot. And they had this incredible video that shared how their prayer initiative led them to not only open their church to a warming shelter during COVID, but they also had to remodel and retrofit their education facilities to provide the right kind of space, a medical clinic, showers, and isolation rooms. And all of this work was so that people could be saved from life-threatening cold and be able to do so in a life-threatening pandemic. It was a really powerful reminder that the power of prayer is real. And on that note, I want to thank you so much for watching this video on ministry at the 2021 annual conference. Thank you so much, and let me know if you have any questions. Bye!